Hello everyone and welcome to this series about IPython notebook. This is the third part and it's about basic Python. In this tutorial we'll be looking to how to work with code cells. We can execute code cells by hitting Shift and Enter, a keyboard shortcut for that, or Control and Enter. Shift and Enter will execute a code cell and move you to the next one, like this. Control and Enter will execute a code cell and keep you within the same cell, like this. So your focus is still on the same cell. One important thing you want to do is you want to get help about a certain object you have in your coding environment. In here we imported IO and we want to know more about it. We add a question mark to the end of it and execute that code cell, and this will pop up this help window at the bottom where we can know more about this. If we need to know even more about it, we can add double question mark, and this will actually show us more about IO. Actually, it's showing us here the complete source code plus the doc string, which is the help string of this that showed up in the previous one. IPython Magic. There are a lot of codes for IPython Magic, and here we're looking at quick ref. This will return a quick reference for IPython with all other magic available, and a lot of help that you might need whenever you're looking for a quick reference. For example, to get history, autocall, a lot of line magic and block magic available also in here. Another thing, you can close that by hitting the separating line. Another thing you want to do is help. Sometimes you want to get help regarding a function, for example, open function, which opens a file, and it will tell us this opens a file using blah blah blah. So, and this is the parameters, and this is what it returns. So we know how does open work. We can open the interactive help shell, which will look like this, and we can show us open, and it will show us the same thing. We can always quit that by typing quit, and it will get us out of the interactive help environment. You can get more information about what you're working with, pdoc, pdiff, psource, and pfile. This is all magic that will read more about what you're working with. And finally, pfile. This is how you get more information about them: pdoc, pdiff, psource, and pfile. But mostly you will be working with the single and double question marks to get help about objects you're working with. Tabcompletion is one of the most important things we have in IPython notebook. So if you hit tab after adding a dot, you can explore and browse everything inside this object. So you can start typing V, and it will filter out only things starting with V. We can see that we have version info, for example. Then we can add a dot again and tab, and it will give us more information, so we can see our major part of the version for Python, and it's 2. We can check our minor. It should be 7, yes, so it's 2.7. We can check our micro, so it's 2.7.6, the version we're working with. We can look at more things like version, and it will return the complete string. One more thing is shift tab. You go inside the parentheses of any function, and you hit shift and tab, and you will get this pop-up box telling you more about this function, the parameters, things like this, things you might need to use a function. A lot of functions do have a doc string that covers anything that you might need on the fly to work with a function. So let's look at more magic. One important thing is ls magic. This lists all available magic that you have in your development environment. These are line magic and these are cell magic with the double percentage. Single percentage mark will affect a single line. This will affect the whole cell. So let's see how do they work. We have time it. This is a very common one. Time it will time anything that comes after time it. So let's try to create a list of 1,000 items using two different functions and time them to see what's more time efficient for us. It's executing them in loops and measuring the time they take to execute. This might take a little bit of time. Actually, we will be taking a little bit of time here. Okay, did it 100,000 loops. Best of 3 is 13.8 microseconds for the first one. And for the second one, it did it in 198 nanoseconds. So this is much faster than this. We can time whole blocks using timeit, the cell format of timeit. This will time everything inside the block. Make sure you put it in the first line. Even if you have some important comments, add them in the second line. Don't add anything before the cell magic. So we can time this block and it will execute this loop over and over, and we can compare it to this cell to see which one does better, and this does slightly better than this because it uses X range instead of range. Reset. This resets all our variables. We have to press yes in here if we do, but we don't actually. Bash, I've talked about this a little bit, but it's always good to remember bash. This is really important, very useful. You will always need to access something in the terminal, and instead of jumping back to the terminal to do something, you can always use the double percentage bash magic, cell magic, and add any code you want to execute in the terminal right from the notebook. Input and output. Let's try 3 plus 5 again. So we have our input number 22 giving us output 8. Let's check this. N of 22, this returns whatever was in our cell number 22, and it's 3 plus 5. It's a string of 3 plus 5. We can access our output of 22, and it will return 8. So we still have access to every input and output, and they are in two lists, in and out lists, and you can access them easily just by referencing the number. You have the underscore. So underscore plus 3, this will always reference the last output you have. So in here we can say underscore plus 3, which is 8 plus 3. It's like answer in the calculator. So 8 plus 3 is 11. 11 minus 4 is 7. We can even go further and say, for example, times 2, and that would be 14. This lesson is available open source on GitHub, and it's viewable on NB Viewer. The link to this document is in the description below. You can use that as a reference whenever you're working with IPython. Thank you for watching, and I hope if you like this you will subscribe and watch the fourth part of this series, and it's about NumPy basics. Thank you for watching.